Right. Hooray. Got it.
Of course, now everybody's going to be quiet because we're.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, thanks for having a meeting.
Sure.
I got about 6 minutes yet, huh? Okay.
Yeah, so we canceled our meeting, our in-person meeting tomorrow because of the threat of snow.
Canceled it already? Wow.
Well, we had to get with the caterer.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
we're
have
going
to make-
to watch the school. We have our food packing and distribution tomorrow,
Oh, boy.
but it shouldn't affect it because the distribution is until 10:30. And the snow is supposed to be over with by noon. So the only thing that would affect it if it was a late delay or start or something.
Yeah. I've heard conflicting stories. I heard some that it was supposed to start early morning, and other people telling me, no, it's not supposed to start till 10. I don't.
I think there's a small band that's supposed to pass through in the morning
Oh, okay.
and then one later in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But neither one, I don't think, I mean, I live in Topton, so I'm not too overly concerned as long as I don't live in Kempton or Lenhartsville.
Oh, they're supposed to get more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
generally upper elevation and further north, they get a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. I liked it last week in the tropical weather, so
Yeah.
I'm cold every day here.
Welcome home.
Yeah. Welcome to the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
Is that a direct flight, Cindy?
It was, yeah.
It's good. From Newark.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Janet.
There, Janet. How many people signed up?
22.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we were just the other day. What did you say, Gwen? We only had like 9 people.
9. Yep.
And
Oh, okay.
Rotarians who are so far advanced in their planning. And more are coming.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a new computer set up, so I'm not
We
sure.
can we can see you too.
Well,
Yeah.
that one I got. I figured that one out. I wasn't
You're all
sure.
dressed, you're all dressed up.
No, I have a sweater and a
Oh, it looks like a blazer the way it
No,
is. I was
this-
like, oh, she wore a suit just for us.
no, it's my favorite sweater.
Oh, okay.
And now that you know that, you'll probably see it and recognize it next time.
Probably not.
So let's see where we are. Well, we're filling up.
Up to 10.
And more coming.
Todd, how's Todd doing?
Good, Chuck. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Oh, Len came on. He was having a meeting tonight. So you might want to introduce Len, Gwen.
Oh, our governor's here. Oh, we got to watch ourselves now.
No, we don't.
I know. That's not Len.
Sorry, I have 3 names in,
He's an imposter.
I've got 3 accounts.
Oh, okay.
All other people's name.
Facebook. Jim, how you doing?
All right, Bob.
Why are you hiding under Len's name?
He does that sometimes.
I use 3 things for, I have 3 Gmails for
Oh, okay.
Zoom. And
I miss
sometimes
Casey.
his comes up.
Yeah.
I've
Hello,
been
everyone.
honest. Oh, he's not. We're getting there.
Yeah.
The meeting is being recorded, so you all know.
Okay.
Where everyone's so quiet. Just because it's being recorded doesn't mean you can't say something.
We were talking quite a bit before you showed up.
Well, welcome to you.
Well, the meeting hasn't officially started yet, too.
Sarah, you like that one, huh?
Yeah.
It's okay. Come here.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Miss Katie.
Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, hello.
Marlene.
I could be talking to you all day.
I know.
Just need
Okay,
three
Cindy,
more.
You ready at 6:30?
Tom is here.
I don't mind
Hi.
waiting another minute. Do you want to start?
My camera's not working. Sorry, guys.
We know you're beautiful.
Diane?
Yeah.
Two more.
Sure.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
I die.
Mhm.
Well, it's 6:31. What do you want to do? Go ahead.
Let's get going. We're at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Well, good evening and welcome to our intermediate level Club Runner session. Thank you for being with us this evening. I have some great news for you tonight. I'm Gwen Carr, the Allentown West Club, and we have 3 fantastic presenters who are willing to share their Club Runner knowledge, tips, and hints with you tonight. So Shushma Patel of the Harleysville Club is going to help us learn more about documents. And Shushma is the district administrative assistant, as well as a member of the STEMYA fundraising team. And Shushma is always willing to help.
Mhm.
So do you want to start the agenda slides?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to see all of you.
Mhm.
And so, like Gwen said, I'm going to talk about documents and how you can use ClubRunner to store your documents, whether it's like club minutes, bulletins, agendas, different things that you have. You can put all of that in there. And thanks, Cindy. It's just a place for you to store documents, and also an easy way then when you send emails out through ClubRunner, you can just attach those documents directly and just quickly send them out. You can use them for, like we talked about, like board minutes. You can use it for committee meeting minutes, announcements, different things that you want to share. Like I'm assuming pictures and things like that, but those would be like the documents that you can share. And it's also a great way to keep like your historical data. So if you've had minutes from like many years ago or things that you want to look back, somebody's asking, where is everything? This is a great way to put everything in like one spot. So the different club executives can have access to it. Trying to think. So here, and I'm going to show you a few things on the district or on the website. So I'm just going to switch out. Thank you. And then when I'm showing you this, my page is going to look a little bit different than everybody else's page. So if you're not seeing the same thing, it's because I have a different access level than most people do. And we'll talk a little bit more about access a little bit later on. But to be able to do the documents, you need to have like an access level within ClubRunner of at least 30. So that way you can just add the documents in. One thing I did want to just mention is on our district website, if you go under Learning and Development, the ClubRunner training that we had last time in the fall, there's a recording here of it. So you can always go back to look at that. And then once we get this recording done for tonight's session, we'll add that to this, to the website also. So to get started, you would just need to go into your member area. Make sure you're logged into ClubRunner first, and then just go into your member area. And then here, what you would need to do is to make sure you go to the Documents tab at the top. And then where it shows up documents again on the second line, you would just click on that. And like I said, this is going to look a little bit different because this is the district website that I'm sharing with you. So what we would do first is you would just add a folder. So just like you have add a folder on your computer to save files, whether they're personal or private, this is what you would do. So just as a sample, I'm just going to create a folder. I'm just going to call it Club Board Minutes. And having been secretary, I know I have a lot of them that I could easily put onto this folder for our club. And you can add a little description if you wanted to put whatever, 1 year, 5 years, whatever you wanted to do. And you just keep the subfolder of the top levels. That'll be like the top folder in this series. I'll show that to you again once I save this. Okay. And so here we're seeing these are in like alphabetical order for this top folder. The first one you see, that means the top folder. So the down arrow means there's other folders underneath, or if you click it, then the other ones that are underneath go away. Where did mine go? Oh, I did samples, so it's going to be towards the bottom.
First thing in the morning. Thank
So
you.
here it is. So here's my sample Club Board Minutes folder. Now I would just go to add. Add is to add one document. If you wanted to add more than one document, you could use add multiple. I'm just going to add one document just to show you guys. So here's similar thing. You would just put the title in. So I'm just going to say January 2023 board minutes. And you can put previous ones in here too, like I said, to keep history if you'd like. And right here, the document folder. So it's going to put it under sample club board minutes. So that's my folder that I wanted to go into. The other thing to do is also to click the access level to public. That way everybody will be able to see it in the club.
Okay.
And now we just choose the file that we want. And here's my sample board minutes. And then I'm just going to save. And then you go back to your folders directory. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. Oh, here we go. So now you see the arrow here. If I just click on it, underneath is the January 2023 board minutes. So this is a simple way to put your club documents on here. You could put your bylaws, board bylaws, club bylaws, anything like that. If you have like policies or, information for new members, the different committees, description of your committees. This is just a good way or a way to share that information, or people, your club members can easily access it. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop sharing now. All right. And are we taking questions now or a little bit later? I think, does anyone have any questions?
I do have a question, Shushma.
Sure.
Who could access those documents?
I believe it's anybody in the club should be able to access it. As long as you put it as the public, that access level to public, then they should be able to access it.
Okay, great. If there are additional questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll monitor the chat. So you may think of something as we move on through the presentation.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, now we're going to hear from Marlene Heller of the Allentown West Club. Marlene is also a member of the District 7430 Public Image Committee. She's a journalist and a communications specialist who has worked with nonprofits for over 30 years. And Marlene's going to tell us a lot about newsletters. Marlene, you need to unmute.
That might be helpful. When wondering what you need a voice. That's one thing. Okay, so someone I understand was wondering if you can create your bulletin, otherwise known as a newsletter, through ClubRunner. And of course you can. ClubRunner can do almost everything except make coffee. And that may be coming down the line because they are always adding features. Next slide, Cindy. So the first question is, of course, what do you need? You need a lot of things. Patience is the first thing. Next slide. So next slide, Cindy.
It doesn't like me.
Just hit the next button. Okay, so the first thing you need is access. And everybody who has Access 30, as Shushma was talking about, everybody who has Access 30 can get to anything in ClubRunner, but you have to be able to work on a laptop or a desktop, because believe me, you don't want to do this on a phone. If you do it on a phone, you will spend the rest of your life in physical therapy. You also need a lot of time, because your first issue will take a lot of time. Your second issue, a little less. By the time you get to your third one, you'll be marveling at how easy it really is, because once you get it down, it's just a matter of plugging everything in. Nerves of steel helps, headache remedies. Am I right, Karen? You'll get there. Okay, next slide. So what is Access 30? It gives you access to everything on your website, including all of your club's images, the photos, the stories, the archives, but you can also see other things on your website. So what it isn't is permission to mess around on the website. Think of it as the same thing as HIPAA. It's like private health information. You might see information that's private on there, but you do not have permission to share it. Only use it for what you need and ignore the rest. Next slide. So where are the bulletins hiding on ClubRunner? Well, they're hiding in plain sight. Next slide. So if you look at this top line here, you can see where I circled it. In order to get there, the first thing you do is you have to log in. And as Shushma showed you before, you go into the part where it says the member area, and you click that. And then you get this bright blue line there, and it has everything spelled out for you, and you click on Bulletin. And on the left side there, you click on that. Very easy. Next slide. And we're going to stop for a commercial. So whenever you're stuck on anything in ClubRunner, you look on the blue bar or the white bar, depending on where you are, you'll see the word help. Sometimes you'll see the word support. Either one will get you to a treasury of videos, and they can get you through almost any situation. You can ask anything from how can I create a new template for a newsletter to how do I upload an image? And if you are joining your club's public image team next year, watch for an invitation to the live CR tutorials during the changeover in June and July. The live ones are great because they show you all the new features and improvements, and you can ask questions. These are on Zoom, and you can ask questions while they're happening. But the videos are great because they talk so fast during the live tapings, and on the videos, you can slow them down and play the same things over and over until you really understand it. And I know this because I've done it over and over. Okay, end of commercial. Next slide. So you clicked Bulletin, and this white bar appeared. And now you have more options. From left to right, you have Manage Bulletins, which we'll get to in a second, Create New Bulletin. This is a shortcut to start from scratch to create a new bulletin. Then Send History and Stats. You're going to want to go here after your bulletin has been sent, maybe a few hours later, maybe a couple of days later, to see if people are actually reading your bulletin. And this is where you can find out if some of your newsletters are getting stuck because people's emails aren't up to date, or because they've labeled you as spam, or because somebody typed the email incorrectly. And your club should be checking these every now and then just to see if things are not getting through to your club members, because important club emails may not be getting through. We just did this in my club, and we went from about 40% not getting through to only one email not getting through. And we're trying to work with that one person who is a board member. We can't figure out why that one email isn't getting through. Then after that, we have bulletin subscribers. This is a list of people who actually ask to be subscribed to your newsletter. You know, your mother, a speaker who doesn't know what Rotary is, people like that, people who have gone to the bottom of your bulletin and clicked on the link that says subscribe to the newsletter. And then there's help, which I mentioned before. That's your SOS or Mayday button. So now you click on that first button, manage bulletins, and ta-da, all the bulletins are now in front of you. You can choose the last one that was sent out, or an older one that you want to copy, or start fresh, or use one of these as a template. At the bottom right of each newsletter, you'll see a drop-down arrow. Click it, and you'll see options, including copy or save as template. If you choose either of those, you can start your new bulletin from these options. Or scroll to the bottom of that page and the visible newsletters that are in front of you, and you'll see all bulletins. A new page opens up and will show you a choice of all your templates, all active bulletins, and archive bulletins. Next slide. When you start a new bulletin, there are certain fields that you'll need to fill in, such as who the editor is, what the name of your bulletin is, which you can get to change it then, what the return email is, etc. I suggest changing the subject line with every newsletter that you send out. For instance, the name of the district's monthly newsletter is Imagine Rotary, but the subject line for January was Imagine a New Year. People are more likely to open it if the subject line is something that they haven't seen before. When we decided to try different subject lines in 2021, our open stats went from 28 to 32% to more than 40% each month. That's something that you can check when you check your stats. Next slide. Now that your newsletter is designed, it's time to put your stories and images in. So we're not going to cover this in this short segment, but if anyone is currently working on a newsletter and stuck, feel free to reach out to me privately and I'll be happy to work with you one-on-one. Next slide. Navigate to the next step by clicking next at the top or bottom of the page. You are now on the preview page. You can take the time to admire your work. Isn't it beautiful? You worked so hard on it. Read it over and then click next again. Here is where you can send a test email to yourself to be sure everything is set correctly. Mail it to yourself to see if you remember to put in a subject line. Are your photos with the right stories? Are they where you want them? Are your feeds from RI coming in correctly, such as your calendar, your officers, your links, whatever? If you put links in your articles, click on them. Are they working? Make sure everything is looking just exactly as you want it. Next page. Ready to go? Then go back to ClubRunner, click next again, and you're on the mailing page. And on the left side of the page, click to choose the recipients of your newsletter and make sure you've clicked archive after sending. Now you have the choice of sending it immediately or choosing a time and date of when to send it. And check again to be sure your subject line is in there. Now you have a choice of sending it or sitting and staring at it and saying, oh no, did I do everything? Did I forget anything? No, you're ready. Now, the first time I sent it on a timed send. That is, I waited to send it until the next day or two. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do next. If I click send, is it really going to send it the next day, or is it going to just go right now? But I bit the bullet and I hit send, and sure enough, it didn't go out until the next day and time. And boy, did I feel better then. Then you're done. Next slide. And that felt really good. Thanks for listening. Any questions?
I do have a couple questions, Marlene. How long are the stats kept?
They're there forever. You can go back all the way down the page. I can compare what I did to what Lou did. I can look at stats that are the open rate, the dropped rate, the spams, and I can compare if something that I thought I fixed, how long ago did I fix it? I can go back each issue and go back and see where it was. So they're a long time.
Long time. I have a kind of a weird question too. In our case, we have the Allentown West bulletin that goes out. Would it be possible to have another bulletin?
You can do as many bulletins as you want.
Okay.
Just name them something else.
Okay, good. And Sarah has a question. A nice feature, or she has a comment. A nice feature is when you create a story. Let me get the rest of it, Sarah. I lost it. When you create a story, it can be on your website and also in your bulletin.
That's correct. It goes into your story file. And then when you want to use the same story, you're going into kind of an archive. And when you go in to place it, it will ask you, do you want to create a new story, or do you want to take a story that's in your story file? So you can do either one and it will stay there. The nice thing about ClubRunner, and I don't say that very often, but there are some nice things. The nice thing about ClubRunner is that when you delete something, it doesn't disappear. It just goes off in a corner and waits for you to call it out again. So stories don't disappear. So if you want to find something that you know was there before, you can always go back into your story archive and find it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there's another question there by from Mark in chat.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So Mark is asking, do you make any special considerations for creating bulletins for mobile reading?
When you create your bulletin, at the top of the page, there are 3 icons. There's a mobile, a tablet, and a desktop. So it is a good idea to look at them, to look at the version of it in all the versions so that you see what it looks like when it's coming out. And in these days, most people look at them on their phones. So it does help if you look at it that way and see what it's going to look like. We're all doing our websites that way if we're smart. We're looking at our websites that way. Emails are a little bit different because most emails are formatted that way. Most email services, and the bulletin is an example of that, should be formatted that way. But the person who's creating it has to keep that in mind. And it's a good idea. That's why you send yourself a test email. So you should be looking at it on your phone as well as on whatever you're creating it on to see what it looks like when you bring it up. That's a very good point.
There's another question. Can you create an audio file in editor mode?
That I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that.
Maybe somebody here in the group has the answer.
Not me.
Okay. Maybe that's something we can investigate, audio files.
Yeah.
No, yes, you can. You have to create them and then save them to, they only upload from a third-party server, meaning YouTube. So you would create your file, you would save it to YouTube, and then you would use the link feature and link it in there.
Thank you, Karen.
Have fun.
Anybody else?
Another chat there.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's the same one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for your attention.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Marlene. Thank you very much. That was very, very instructive. Now you've given me some new ideas, and Shushma's going to hate you because I'm thinking of some things we can do. So I'm thinking, like, for the STEMIA fundraiser, we'd have their email addresses. We could probably create an additional group and send a thank you that way, send a thank you bulletin.
Definitely.
So that would be a really nice touch. So thank you. Okay, so now we're going to talk about events. And this is an area I'm really interested in seeing more information about. And PDG Cindy Horniman of the Emmaus Club is going to share her knowledge about events. If you need to know who to go to in District 7430 for an answer to a question, just ask Cindy because she knows everybody. She knows everything. So Cindy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. We have received a lot of questions in the last year about adding event planner and using event planner and calendar items for many things. This is a topic that we could spend a whole hour because there's a lot of details involved. So as those of you who know me, I'm a very simple person. So we're going to go through kind of an easy method and then a more detailed method for those that are doing more complicated events. So the first one is called Event Planner, and the next is My Event Runner. So the Event Planner, and again, think simple, is used for our simple calendar events, like this training session. It's easy to use, and I'm actually going to go in the website and show you. So just give me a second here. So just like everyone else, okay, you do your member login. And I do want to caution you, my screen may look different than some of yours just because of different access level. You go into member area. And this is where sometimes people get confused. Go into events. Again, we're thinking simple thing, and you'll see all these different type of things. And we'll talk a little bit about them, but let's just do a basic event planner. Now, when we're doing this, the easiest type of events to use on event planner are calendar events, like training programs. You can put costs in, but it's easier where you just take the registrations. So let's do this. Now you're going to see a whole bunch of things come up. And now you're going to see whatever is on your website. You will see all the events, and you can have an events list, and you can use a template. So let's go through and just create an event. Okay, so to create an event, we're going to call this event event planning. You don't need to put an event code. If you want to, you can. You want to put the start date and time. So we're going to start this tonight at 7:05 p.m. and we're going to end it. Okay, and you can end that in a week, in 2 weeks, whenever. And we'll talk about that because there's a reason for that, because when you want to do registrations, when you're setting up an event, you want to give people time to register. In this case, we're just going to stop the event at 10 o'clock. Then what you can do is then you can describe the event. This is a party to learn about event planning. In here, if you want to, you can also add a separate link. I know, for example, STEMIA might have a different type of website, or another organization might have a different type of website. You can put the link in there and it will take you to there. Now, we were having a little problem with my computer. Now, when you go down, after you do the event, you can say, would you like to enable registration now? So let's say you have an event that you're planning 6 months in advance. you want some people on your board or committee to look at, so you can either enable it now or not enable it now. We're going to enable it now. Okay. And just like in the documents section, you can select a file and browse. I oftentimes, here's where you can use your Rotary emblems here. You can use any other image that you're going to use for that event. It will automatically show the club that you belong to and your name, and you can give whatever information it is. If it's a location, you can give the latitude, etc. The neat part about this, for clubs want to show events in the district calendar. Okay, since I'm in the district calendar already, it doesn't show that. But in your club, if you click, will it show in the home page? Yes. Will it show in our district calendar? Yes. Events list, in the bulletin, on your social media bar, and a map if you give the address of where your event is. So that is really key. So then you go and you save it. Okay. Now, the next thing it'll tell you is my event's been created. Okay. And I don't have a map up there. It just shows I'm in the United States. If it's at a location, you can show the location. Okay. But now what we're going to do is just give me a second. I am going to now show you, if you go back. Oh, it didn't like me. Hold on a minute. Now let's say you want to look up your registrations, see reports, and this is really key. If you're having an event in your club, or we want to know next year how many people attended ClubRunner training, we can see that. And that's important. So just give me a second here. Oh, this is very weird.
Yeah, your screen is acting up.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Looks like a scene from Total Recall.
Yeah, it was doing that earlier. I apologize. Go figure. Here we go. Okay, so now you're back in. Now let's go to member area and let's look at that event. Event planner. Okay, so now if we see this one here, you can copy that to make another one. You can delete it, but let's just open it. Okay, and here is where you can edit registration options. At the top, you can add links. You can add download files. The similar system that Shushma showed you in documents is the same thing for download files. But here, let's say you have an event and you want to make registration options different. Okay, you can on the bottom make it public. Okay, and this is a free event. Then you go to the bottom again and you save it. Okay, now that's pretty much what that does. What that will do then is that will show everything that you have on your calendar. You can have it on the district calendar, and then you can go back in under registrations and you can print registrations. You can print name badges, and you can also even print attendee lists, including that. And so next year, if you want to see what you did, you can see who attended and you can see that. Okay, before I go on, because the next one is a little bit more complicated, any questions on that?
I had a question about the event code. When did you use that, or what would that be?
I don't use it.
No.
If you have multiple events, you might want to track it with a code.
Oh, I see.
I haven't seen anything in the last 2 years now that we've been really starting to use the event planner where an event code is really needed.
Okay.
When we get to the second portion that I'm going to talk about, and let's say you have 2 events or you have different types of selections, you might want to select a code.
Okay.
Me personally, it makes it more complicated and you're better off just learning to use this simply.
Okay.
Anything else?
Cindy, is there any limit to the number of registrants to your event?
1,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the one that probably in the last 6 months, we've gotten many more questions and interests from club. So this is more used for events with multiple options and payments of different types. So for example, club fundraisers, different dinners where you have selections of different types of meals or adding a guest. Or training events where there's options for attendance. Okay, now with my event runner in ClubRunner, there is actually 2 types of my event runner that you can select from. The first is called Light, and the second is Pro. Now, if to me, and it depends on your club, if you are going to have an event like a dinner or where you want to take checks and different payment options or for multiple options, the Pro is the way to go. And it is very comparative to some of the other public of like Eventbrite, etc. The advantage that you have with ClubRunner is, remember, let's say you have a golf outing and you want to see, gee, I don't remember what we did last year. On ClubRunner, you have the archive. All you have to do is change it and update it. And you have that in there for your future committees and your future leaders to be able to learn to do. So there's some similarities on both of these. You can have public registration or ClubRunner registration. You can have new packages. You can accept credit cards with both, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The advantage of the Pro is you can really get reports. You can attract attendees, registration, do what's called add-ons. Let's say if you are giving a discount or you give an opportunity for something to buy somebody something in addition to coming to a dinner, you can do that. You can also do special things like early bird pricing. Here you also, and we have used this many times in our district, from changeover dinners to foundation things, you can have payment options by check and track payments. You can also have what's called unlimited questionnaires. So let's say you're having a dinner and somebody is allergic to dairy or somebody is vegetarian. You can have unlimited number of that. Okay, in both of these, the maximum registration is 1,000. Also, in your club, if you have a committee with the event runner and there's 2 people running it, you can also have up to 5 event chairs. Now, in all honesty, the first time you do this, I would not do this until you're familiar with doing it. Now, so per registration, and we'll talk about this, and the registration, let's say you have you and your spouse or you and your partner coming, that is considered one, and there is a cost of $1. Okay, the next thing, in terms of pricing, my event runner is free in terms of a setup fee, but there is what's called a PCI compliance fee. And anytime, and for those of you who own your own business, know that you have to, for taking credit cards, you have to be in compliance. And that's an annual fee of $75. Then there's a monthly fee of $10 per, but we'll talk about that. And then for each transaction, okay, which is that you make, is 25 cents. we'll talk about the credit cards. When you're taking credit cards, there's a very varying fee rate. And that ranges from 2.49% to 5%.
Cindy,
Yes.
we think your share screen is frozen.
No, I'm on the same. Oh,
It hasn't changed at all.
do you see it now?
Yep.
Now we can. But
Did you
we
see
missed
the
5
previous?
minutes.
Did you see the previous one with the pro and the light?
No.
Go back
No.
one, go back one.
Why is my computer not liking me? Okay, so try again. So this is a chart, and you can also get it in the help section on ClubRunner under events. And there's two versions, a light and a pro. So if you're going to have a simple event that doesn't have a lot of choices to it, like a dinner with only one meal or something, you might want to consider the light. But for all of the other things that you get with pro, and one of them, which I had mentioned, is if you're going to be taking a payment by check. We get, at least for each of our events, we get 3 or 4 of our Rotarians who don't want to pay online, who want to pay by check. Also, if you're going to be allowing public registration, today I know that there is somebody that's doing an event in one of our clubs in a couple of weeks, and they want to invite the public and want to be able to take payments by check. So with the pro version, you can do that. Also key with the pro version is you have what's called unlimited questionnaires, and we're going to go through that. So if you
Yeah,
have,
you're frozen.
again, do you see this screen?
The same screen.
I'm still on the same screen.
You're on
Okay.
the, right.
Okay, it doesn't say, last time it said frozen. So the other thing with this, in both of them, you can have 1,000 people max for registration. I'd love it if one of our club fundraisers had 1,000 people attend. I think everybody would get excited. But you can also have access for administration for that event for up to 5 chairs. Again, I would not recommend that you have 5 chairs access your event runner until everybody is really trained and knows how to do it. And there is a cost per registration. That's per registration. But on a registration, you can have like a Rotarian and a spouse, or a Rotarian and a friend. That's counted as one registration. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next slide. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go over the pricing. For the My Event Runner, the Pro, there is no setup fee. So it's included with our ClubRunner. But anytime you have a system where you take charge cards, for those of you who have your own business, there's what's called an annual PCI compliance fee, and that's $75. I own my own business, and that's pretty standard in the industry. There's a monthly fee to use that of $10, which we'll also talk about. And for every transaction that's sent to your account, there's a 25-cent fee. The system will accept all types of charge cards, and there's pricing is subject to the type of cards. Okay, so the range, and I've now worked with this so that we have it pretty much down to a science, ranges from about 2.49% to 5%. When I'm planning our events, I use the 5%, and usually the ClubRunner tells me it averages like 3.5. So that's up to you. And there's a minimum monthly charge of $5. However, what you can do is, let's say you are a club and you only have one big fundraiser a year. You implement this, you pay your $10 or 2 months for registrations. You then contact ClubRunner and keep your account dormant, so you are not paying the monthly fee. If you are having events every month or 3-4 times a year, you have to evaluate whether you want it to be dormant. We have put our district account on dormancy a couple times, and it was very easy to put it back on. So those are decisions you need to make. The other decision to make, and we have found this very easy, ClubRunner uses a company called Sage Payment Solutions. Sage Payment Solutions actually accepts the credit card payments from your registrants and transfers them immediately to your club's account, whether that be checking or savings. You then receive reports. Your treasurer or you as the chair will get a notice every time there's a transaction. And then Sage Payments sends, whether if you're getting registrations daily, every 2 days, it sends it as they get them. It's not like other big companies where, for example, eBay used to be you had to wait 3 or 4 days to be able to get payment. Event Runner, you have to wait, I believe it's 48 to 72 hours before you see payment. So here's the information. And again, that's on the help center on my Event Runner. And you can contact them to get it set up. Once it's set up, it's automatically there. So for each event that you set up, you just have to say accept credit cards, and you will not have to do that. So I'm going to do a sample, and I want to tell everybody up front, again, this is not an easy thing because you almost need to do it with an event. So if any of you in your clubs are having events and you would like me to help you walk through to get your first one set up, I'll be glad to do that, because just like with anything else, once you do it, you'll be able to understand that. So before I go on to some samples, are there any questions on this? Or you can ask later.
I'll come. You went to 5% for your credit cards?
Yeah, because after we did a couple major events, we also had a little fudge factor. You almost have to calculate it to make sure. You never want you to lose events. And in talking to Sage Payments, I said, okay, well, what's the average and which cards charge the most? Can you select different cards? No, you can't. But they say it's an average of 2.49% to up to 5%. You never get charged more than 5%. So you can decide, you can do a couple changes. Apparently some of the premium cards or the, have Platinum Plus or whatever charge more. Each one's
they do.
Each one's different. And by the way, that's like that in many of the other event planning situations, because the companies that own these like event planning software, they have the same thing, because if they only charged a flat rate, they also could lose. So they charge whatever the card does. I've had long discussions about this because I didn't like that at all, but that's just the way it is. Questions? Okay, I'm going to go on now to the next one. And I'm going to go to the website and we're going to do a sample event. And here, please fill in and ask, because again, once you set up something, it's actually quite easy. So I am going to screen share. Hold on.
We're getting your green screen again, Cindy.
Yep, it's going to be done in a minute. Okay, do you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just like everything else on the website. You go into a member login, put your login in. What I do like about this is that you can really design your logos. You can design what you want to do with your event. Okay, so on this one, you're going to go to events. And this one, you want to do My Event Runner. Okay, now we have our current event on here, which is our Foundation Spring Fling. I'm going to create a new event. And the package allows you to select the version that you want. Okay, so if you're having an event in this one, it automatically assigns a code, but you can decide whether you only want the light features or the pro upgrade features, which is pretty cool because then you can determine what costs you have to do. So for this one, I'm going to select the pro. And what do you want to call this event? Event party. Okay, and just like the other one, currency, you've got to select a currency because again, this is used worldwide. You select a language and here, and this is really critical. So in this case, our event is going to be March 1st. And again, it's simple calendar and it starts at 6 p.m. It ends on March 1st at 9 p.m. now. But I want to start registrations now so we can know how many people we have to plan for, or let the restaurant or country club know how many golfers we have or how many people we have. So we're going to enable this form now at 20 p.m. And this is key too, is some events need to have a number by 2 weeks before the event. So you need to determine how long you want to keep the form open. Now, one thing we've learned, as we all know, Rotarians, they plan so far in advance and you never get any last minute registrations. So, you really need to think about that. Usually most of the places, you can give them a number like a week in advance and say, look, we might have a couple last minute. So depending on, and you'll see the number of attendees you have, you can make this registration. In this case, let's stop this registration. How about February 27th? And we'll stop it at, and you can pick whatever you want, 6:21. Okay, now, you can allow club member login, which that's pretty cool because, and I'm just because here, if you're a Rotarian, you don't have to fill in any of the information, and we'll go that. You can allow duplicate registrations if somebody wants to apply twice. You can allow your user to edit the registration, but you can also publish the registration. But here's what's one of the best is show on the calendar. You can show on your events list, you can show on your bulletin and show on your home plates. Now here for pro, okay, you can have double registrations. You can have a separate group for guest, or you can hide pricing if you want. I don't do that. And you can say payable by check. And then you tell where to send the check. Okay, so that's the first key. Then you save it. It takes a while. So the event has been saved. Okay, but now let's look at what you can do. And this to me is some of the better things about this, that we can share, archive, and have data available to those that are organizing the events. So there's called a dashboard. Okay, and we've not included no package or to include desks. We're going to include desk. So that will come. We then talk about the setup. And this is pretty cool too. This comes back to where we were. But now we want to start designing exactly how much this is going to cost and what to include in it. So we start with a header. Okay, you can input an image. Okay, let's say you want to have, there's some Rotary images here. How about if we just have the Rotary image? You select it. You can, that's on the left. You can determine the size of it. Say 10. And save it. If you want to have a background image, you could have a background image. Let's say you want it to, I don't know, just be different colors. You can add your own images in, and you can add an image on the right. You then can put content. So please join us. Whatever you want, please join us. Can't type us in our event party located, come to Cindy's house on March 1st, 2023, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can also do like size, you can do, you know, bigger things, bold, etc. Okay, you then save that. Okay, and look at the content once again, because I didn't save it. And that's like a Word document, and there you go. So now you see Cindy's house for a party. If you want to write logo, you can put in, we'll just put in this one, and there you go. You can center this just like Word, you can make the background different, etc. So that's your header. You can then do the next phase, and this is where it starts to get a little bit complicated. So you have your form designer, you want to talk about packages. Okay, so a package, let's say, is meals. It's going to be slow. Come on. Okay, so now you're adding a new package. And a package can be foursome golfers, individual golfers, a dinner selection. Okay, those are the types of package. A registration for a theater event, registration for a running, walking event. So here you add, and they're all, I don't know where they came up with packages. So it's a package. The package name is chicken dinner with salad, potatoes, dessert. Okay. Then number of people covered. You can do it with one, or if you want maximum registration, which is up to 1,000, you let it go and you save it. Okay, and that's what happens when it comes up. So you can add as many new packages as you want. If you need to edit that, I'm sorry. I'm not hearing you. Did somebody have a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so those are the packages. Okay, the next thing you look at, okay, is add-ons. Sometimes you don't have add-ons, but before we do that, let's look at payment. Okay, in this case, you can do it payable by check, or we would do Sage Payment Solutions so that anybody that pays that, but you can do both. Okay, because you can do both Sage payments for credit cards as well as payable by check. Okay. You then look at packages again. And talk about payment. Okay, and that's where we can put it in your information. For questionnaires or add-ons, if you have an optional add-on, somebody wants to get an unlimited quantity of wine, you can put that in. Okay, or that isn't used, that option, but there's been some events where prizes are offered, or that you can put a bid in for something, you can do that as well. The next thing you look at, is there any questionnaires? So here you can make up a questionnaire of your own, like what questions you want to ask, add question, edit question, is it true or false? Is this a long text, yes or no? I'll say short question. So here the question is, do you have any allergies? And it can be yes or no. Okay. So that gives you kind of a basic idea there. Then what you can do is at any point, you can view the number of registrations. Now here we don't have any that are paid. You can also view all the attendees. Okay, you can divide that by those who have paid and those who are not paid. And you can also view payments. The wonderful one with this is that if you are having something with a dinner, or you want to welcome somebody, you can also prepare name tags. Okay, so I'm also going to go through now and just show you one of our current events so that you can see a full one setup. You can also do custom email messages. Thank you for your registration. Okay, you can add promo codes, but I just wanted to give you the basics because it's a lot to cover during this period and we're almost out of time.
Cindy, we do have a question.
Yes.
Regarding payment, is there an option to have the payment go on the monthly dues or meal bill?
No. From what it goes directly to your club's account that you set up with Sage Payments. If you have a separate account that you use only for your events, you could set up a separate account with Sage Payments to go to that account. But it is not separate for club billing, etc. It will come directly to your account and somebody's got to keep that. Now, what we do in the district is I'll keep track of it, and our district treasurer, Tom Hartzell, and I will talk to make sure everything matches. But with the reports that are on here, it's actually quite easy to do. So I'm going to just go in a minute to just show you in terms of cost. Our current one. So we currently have our foundation spring fling is open. Okay, it's been published. After you complete everything for our event party that we're having, you need on the bottom, it will say publish. Okay, but you can look at the draft at any time, which helps you. If you have to unpublish it and edit, you can also do that. So let's just look at one that's in existence. Okay, so this is our spring fling. Here's our dashboard. Okay, we currently have 3 paid for dinner. Okay, our header. Okay, come join us in our Rotary Spring Fling, where it's at, the time on there. But now let's look at the packages. Okay, so the dinner, here's what the evening includes. Okay, what the dinner buffet includes and helpful information. In terms of payment, okay, we offered credit card and we offered to send a check. But now let's go through And hold on a minute, I wanted to show you something else. Showed you the packages. Yeah, that was the dinner because we did that. But now if we go to the website, and what you'll also see that happens is once this is set up, okay. And this is also very nice too, because when you're setting this up on the dashboard, on the bottom of the dashboard, it will show you a link. You can copy that link, use it in emails as well as registration. So now let's look, and I want to take a look at this event, and this will show up on your club calendar as well. Okay, Foundation Spring Fling. When you click on those events, okay, it'll show that. And you will also be able to register automatically for that event. And that makes, that's the nice part about that.
Is there a way to get more information on that page?
What?
Yes. I do have more information. I was just not going there. And it'll, when it takes you, like, for example, okay, you can put a new event for this one, the event party. It will automatically, when you do the setup, okay, will include the public URL. Okay, now, if you need help, again, the first time you do this, I know from what I've talked to people, I think we have at least 4 clubs who are looking at using this for their next events. And we have now had enough practice. My club has used it a couple of years now for our golf outings, and it's been very successful. But like anything else with ClubRunner, there's a help session. So if you need some help, you can go to the My Event Runner documentation, and it includes all kinds of stuff. And it will actually walk you through each one of these things and what to do. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen because that's a lot. And I told you at the beginning, it is a complicated thing, but it shows you our capability to do something. It can be simple once we all learn how to do it. So I will take any questions on this or any more information. You can always contact me and we'll help you walk through it. I don't know, I bored everybody at the topic. So
Are there any other questions? It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, this one was a lot to take in, but we had so many requests for it. We wanted to go in as much detail as possible.
And now we know where to go for help.
Yeah.
But ClubRunner also, again, like Marlene had said, go to the ClubRunner website. There's help sections on every single one of those things, and they actually walk through them pretty good. Okay, I guess what we also want to know is, since more of our clubs are using ClubRunner, what additional information would you like to learn about in ClubRunner that has not been provided?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you think about it, let Gwen know.
Absolutely. We have another session scheduled for April. And I will also provide the emails for Marlene, Shushma, and Cindy. So if you have any other questions on their topics.
Okay, now that you all fell asleep.
I want to thank everybody for your time tonight. It's really inspiring to see so many people come out and want to learn more. Especially want to thank Marlene and Shushma and Cindy for spending time putting this together. I think it was a great opportunity for us to learn some more. So let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah. When is the next one in April?
I have to look at the date. I haven't memorized it. Do you have it, Cindy, off the top of your head?
I don't remember, but we also want to look, because this was an intermediate one. What we really want to do is get some suggestions of what people want to learn. And it might be different. It might be a couple different sessions. Gwen will have to look at that and determine, what would you like to learn? What do you think your club would like to learn? What do you need more of? And we'll design it for that. If nobody responds, maybe nobody wants to learn. We don't know.
We do have the date on the district website. I can tell you that. There's a calendar, a coordinated calendar of all the training events. So if you go to Learning and Development, you'll see the calendar there.
Oh, okay. And that's in ClubRunner?
No, that's in your district website.
In the district. Oh, the district. Okay. Okay.
But I'll send it to everybody as well, everybody who's on this call tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Any other here's from Mark. He said it would be interesting to see how people are using contacts. So that's one area.
I need to tell you, I haven't seen that. Where most of the contacts is for, there's like Friends of Rotary and also in different club bulletins. So you get a lot of extra contacts for, like Marlene said, sometimes you get speakers or guests at your Rotary meeting, and then you start sending them your bulletins.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you do events, and you have the events open to the public, the contacts from that event, their information is on there. So you also have that, but not too many other reasons to use contacts. And again, like in everything else, we have to also be concerned about privacy.
Yeah.
Diane has a question too.
Yeah, I know in our public image conversations, and I know Mark has brought this up in the Facebook posts about being able to get new members, potential members, and track them through their process. Is there anything happening with ClubRunner that will assist presidents and membership chairs to do that?
That's a very good point. I don't see that on ClubRunner, but I have to think about that time. We might be able to design something to be able to help presidents. On my Rotary, however, which might be a separate session, in my Rotary, in the club sections, there are sections under membership and membership leads that we connect you to through the district. But that's a very good point.
Yeah, we just get them. We get them from RI, and we're able to manage it that way. But just from our own community, where do we keep track? So otherwise, you've got a separate Excel spreadsheet, and you're assigned people, and could really be helpful.
Our club has created a separate grouping that's called potential members, and we include them in our weekly mailings each week.
Sure,
and we maintain that ourselves.
Yep.
Do you keep that? You don't keep that on ClubRunner, though.
No, you can't. That's what we're saying. She's had to set up her own, which you can do.
Yeah, no, it's in
My question
ClubRunner.
is about-
Under your contacts, and they're like different distribution groups, and we make a
Oh,
distribution
a distribution group, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was thinking.
We don't track them through their process necessarily. It would just be nice to have something that.
They have that module Membership Success, which has been in beta for 5 years.
Right.
I don't think ClubRunner is doing much with it, is my impression.
Yeah, we'd have to design something. We need to think about that. That's a very good point.
They did announce it was moved from beta in the last newsletter, but it still seems to be lacking. It seems to need a lot of work yet.
Yeah, the same thing happened with these events. Like I was not very excited to be able to talk about Event Runner and the advanced thing until we use it for a while, and there were some hiccups. Now it seems to be really working. Maybe it's the same thing with a membership, but they clearly would be helpful.
A lot of people are tracking offline. I would suggest discouraging the use of pictures if you're keeping lists offline. Only because if they should ever get out, you don't want the appearance of your stalking or anything like that. Everybody has a contact book, but not everybody stores pictures.
Carolyn,
Having said that, just to get new members to to your club to get them like an intro to ClubRunner so they know how they can go and see who the other club members are, because we don't do printed directories anymore. We tell everybody to log in and look, and that's hard for some people in our club. But maybe some training on that, on how easy it is just to go in and look and see, or to do the phone app and have it with you all the time.
We do have another comment from Tracy about website development and updating. That would be a helpful topic.
You
We
get
did-
folks to download the app on their phone, we point them at as the directory, because then they can easily see. I see people using it during the meeting and they pull up their phone under the table and they look at the photos to remember people's names.
They're using it.
All right, any last comments? Well, thank you all for your attention tonight. I appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back to you.
Very much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Be careful tomorrow morning.
Yeah.